Hi everyone, this is Trisha, and today I'm back with another watercolor project for you. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do this really simple vase. So let me show you the products we're going to be using for this project. So I'm going to be using this jar from the Decorative Jar Set. I'm going to be using the filler flower and this little flower here from the Bible flower set. This vine from the Bible Foliage Set. These two little sprigs and this foliage from the Foliage Set 4. So first we're going to start by inking up our little jar. So I'm going to ink this up with the Tombow 569, which is one of my favorite colors. It's more like the Marvy African Violet. So I like to use this. I know it's only available in the new Tombow December 2018 new release, and I don't believe you can buy it individually yet, but I know Bonnie uses 565 and that one works just as well. I like this one a little better. It's a little more grayish purple and I just really like it, so I tend to use this one a lot, especially when I'm doing white vases and stuff. Anything that I want to remain white. Oh, I'm getting back from vacation and my voice or my mouth is not working properly. So I'm starting this off by pulling some of the color out of the lines, and you'll notice I'm pulling it out of the left and the right because this little jar is round, or it's not flat, so we're going to just pull that out from the left and the right and really darken in those areas where it's going to have a deeper shadow. And then we're going to pull it out from the left hand side of that little handle because our light source is coming from my light source is coming from that top left or top right, so that left hand side is going to be a little more dark. And then I add a little bit more water once I pull that color out, just to soften those hard edges. And I know it looks like a lot of water on the screen, but trust me, it's not a lot of water. It's just the lighting in my office here. So I'm going to take a Post-it note or a Post-it tape, and I'm going to cover up that little jar to protect it, and I'm going to use this green and ink up this little foliage sprig. I just absolutely love these leaves, this new leaf set. It's one of my favorites, and I'm going to stamp it a couple times, just moving my stamp around and jumping it 3 or 4 times to get some good second generation stamping. Now I'm inking up a couple of them, not the whole stamp, just a couple of the vines, just so that I can put some, so it looks like they're cascading over the edge of that little pot. And then just adding a couple more on the left. This allows me to leave some space for the flowers that I'm going to put in here. So I'm just gonna do those few. Now I'm gonna ink my paintbrush. No, I'm gonna put my paintbrush into water. See, vacation brain. And I'm just gonna pinch it off, and then I'm just gonna touch just the little leaves. I'm not touching those stems at all. And I'm just really, just with a little bit of water, touching just very lightly those leaves, just to soften them out. Really quick. So next I'm going to be taking the little daisy bunch and put that on my acrylic block, and you can see I use this one a lot and it's a little stained, but it's still good. And I'm putting it like this because I'm just going to ink up those top 3 little daisies here, and then I'm going to stamp it in a circle just a few times right in the middle there, and then I'll put one on the left hand side over here and the right hand side over here, and then I'm going to put one over in the left. I tend to stamp things in 3s because it's more visually pleasing, so I'm going to stamp those out. Now usually I would add the water to the flowers now, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do all my stamping first, depending on the colors and how they're going to mix together. So this is like a pine green kind of a color. And I'm just going to add a few of these leaves to each of these daisy bunches, just to give them a little different look from that other foliage that we put in there. So what I'm kind of doing is I'm kind of stamping it on each side of those little flowers I created, just to make them look like they're stuck in some leaves. And if you watch my videos, you'll know that I do that a lot. I'll try to surround the flower with the foliage so it looks like it's sitting in the middle of it. Now here I go. I'm going to add some of the dot flowers, which I thought were violets. They're not violets because I think I know what violets look like, but I have to look up what those flowers are. If you know what they are, please let me know. But it's kind of like the purple lilac. I think they're purple lilacs, not violets. I want to call them violets, but they're lilacs. And I just love the stamp, so I'm going to put that in. But first I'm going to go in and I'm going to touch all of these green vines that I just added with some water, and I'm going to soften those up before I add any more to my project here. And then I'm going to clean off my brush, and I'm going to come in and hit all those flowers. Now sometimes the reason I do add the water to my flowers before my foliage most of the time is because I want to make sure those colors stay vibrant and they don't mix with the foliage. So that's one reason I'll do them each separately and water them every single time. So now I'm inking these little dots up with purple, these little lilacs. And you'll see I'm walking them from the front to back, top to bottom. I'm kind of pulling them in, so I'm stamping the first one where I want the last one to be. Oh, and then again, sometimes I don't do that either. But you want to walk it, just like your grasses, so that it creates a longer cylinder. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some water to that. And the way I do that is sometimes I'll do some of the dots separately, and sometimes I want them to have a little more water so they mix together. It just gives a different effect. But this stamp is a lot of fun to work with. And then I'm just bringing them down a little bit more. I really like the look of that. So here I'm adding a little bit of water to the bottom of this vase, pulling some of the color out of the bottom of the vase. I'm going to just kind of ground it here, and I'm going to add some of that color of the vase to my palette, and then just bring a very little bit of color in to just ground it and give it a little bit of a shadow. If the light's coming from the right hand side, it's going to cast a shadow over more towards the left. Now to finish this off, I'm going to be using those two decorative sprigs, and I just absolutely love these two. That whole set I love. But these just add such a nice pop of color, and it just adds a lot of interest to your projects. I just absolutely love it. So now I'm inking it up with almost like a teal blue color. There's one that goes to the left and one that goes to the right, so that one was the one that goes to the left. Now I'm inking up the one that goes to the right and just adding a few more in here. And these don't require water. You can add water to the little leaves or whatever, but you really don't need to. They're just more of an accent. This is a great one to use for wreaths too. And that's our whole project. So I think I'm going to go in and just add a little more color to the vase, and then we'll call it a day. So I'm just adding a little bit more color to where those shadows would be, because watercolor dries back lighter, so I just wanted to add a little bit more to it. And then that's our whole project. So now I'm just going to come in and I'm going to sign and date it. That's our little vase. So now I'm going to show you how I did the rest of it. So it's the simple things as a sentiment from the new Watercolor Sentiments 2. And I just inked that up with some Amalgam ink and stamped it right in that white space that I had on the right. And I thought, well, It just looked a little bit plain to me. So what I wanted to do is just add something that pulled that right and the left side together. So I took the vine that we used, and I'm going to ink that up again with that pine green, and I'm just going to stamp it a few times next to the sentiment down in the right hand corner. And I just put a couple there. I'm going to soften them up with some water. And then I'm going to take that little violet stamp, and I'm going to ink that again with the purple, and I'm just going to add a little bloom right on the edge of it. And I think that pulled together, the whole thing pulled together nicely. And again, I'm just walking it out a little bit. It's just the hint of a flower being there, and then I'll add a little bit of water just to soften it up. And that's it. That's the end of the project. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you want to see more videos, please hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much and have a great day.